How's it going, YouTube? Open Poker James here. Today we're doing a session review. We're looking at Kaloyan 18's play on the $10 spin and goes. We're going to do a quick review of the hands and see if we can spot some leaks. Alright, so as I said, Kaloyan 18 is the hero in this episode. Playing a 3x multiplier. It's Christmas time. We've got the Christmas background. Let's see if we can spot some mistakes. Alright, so very first hand, Kaloyan has decided that they want to make a 2.5 times the big blind raise. If you notice, Kaloyan has this in big blinds. Some of you like it in chips, some of you like it in big blinds. That's a personal preference. So we're going to be talking about it in the sizings in terms of big blinds rather than chips today. If you notice here, Queen 10, we're raising, which I think is completely fine. I personally 3 times the big blind at this stack depth, but I think it's completely fine to make it this size. Nothing more to say really. As a Tomp, it's got a decision to make. Let's see what they do. So I've been playing a few of the $10 spins on stream recently. I've been doing some spin and go 10 leaderboards on different stakes. And at the moment, these $10 spins seem very, very soft. So hopefully this game will be the same. We've got pocket nines now. And we get called. Oh, flopping a set. Well, how can you screw this up, huh? It'd be pretty hard to screw this one up. Okay, so our opponent has led out on the board. They shouldn't really lead out. It's very, very rare you're going to have a regular player that wants to lead out in this way. I mean, I'm sure if you chuck this into some sort of solver, maybe 1% of the time or less than 1% of the time, it would try and lead out something. But realistically, there are not many players, if any, regs that will lead out in this spot. So I think Frumpy Donut is very likely a recreational. You could, if you wanted to, just immediately mark them as such, to be honest. They've led out on this board. You've got a set. As long as you don't fold, I don't think there's too much you can do wrong. I don't mind raising. I don't mind calling. Let's see what Kaloyan does. They just call. I think it's fine. Just let them do the betting for you, I guess. At this point on the turn, now you can start thinking about raising it up. You can be worried about a jack or a king or an 8 coming out that stops top pair from wanting to stack off, for example. They might end up folding. You don't want that to happen. Once they've bet the flop and the turn, I feel like it's very likely they've got a queen, if not maybe a flush draw. So even then, not so bad to get them to fold. So I think at this point, this is when I would be starting to quicken up the pace. He decides to call. Yeah, so personally at this point, I'd be a little bit too scared about certain runouts. 10 river is not so bad. That's a pretty nice run out. But overall, I would prefer to raise the turn, or directly on the flop is also fine. Frumpy Donut. Okay, very easy all in at this point. I don't know what Frumpy Donut has. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Maybe he will fold if he's got a queen. Told you guys, these $10 spins have been pretty soft recently. They've got the $1 million jackpot, so you're going to get all sorts of players that are up to no good. Yeah, it's worth noting, making a mark on those kind of players. If you're playing these stakes, they might appear every now and again. So there you go. The ace freehand, I like the shove against the min raise. I think it's perfectly good. Let's see if As a Tomp is a little bit better than the guy we just busted with the 3-2. Queen 3, I don't mind betting, I don't mind checking. When you've got the low pairs on a low board, you are more inclined to want to protect your hand. Let's say you've got bottom pair on a different type of board where it's much higher cards. It's a lot easier to check it back. Now, he did bet, he gets raised, and I think it's definitely one to call. Once they've shoved the turn, a very wet turn, yeah, you're out of there. I like the play so far. Queen 8, we get the call and the check. A min bet. Okay. I can see why he's thinking about calling, but yeah, I think folding is a good idea. In those spots, let's pull it back. In those spots here, you ideally want to be calling or raising with gut shot type hands. And if you've got any ace highs, I mean, we're deep enough to have ace highs, yeah, stick around with those as well. I don't think a hand like Queen 8 is, you don't need to be sticking around that much. This is a board that is really bad for you anyway, so yeah, you are going to fold a lot. Our opponent's bet size indicates to me they might be a reg. Small bets on a board that you know you're going to get lots of folds from weaker hands. That's the kind of sizing that you should be using on those board textures. So it looks like they're playing well. We got the top pair now. Don't know what they're taking so long for. I guess they're a multi-tabler. That's my guess. If they're taking so long on the spot, which is an easy check. Anyway, I don't know how big we want to bet here. We're going for a large sizing. I like it. You can just carry on betting 1/3 pot all the time with these hands, but on these fairly wet boards where certain runouts can kill the strength of your hand, I think it's fine to bet. I find it interesting that your bet amounts denominations are 40% and 70% pot. I would prefer much smaller ones like quarter pot and 1/3 pot in general, because on these kind of stakes you can often just take flops down with very, very small bets because people don't know how to play against those small bets. They fold a little bit too often. Okay, you bet and you bet. River, woo, I have to say this is an interesting spot. Personally, I would go for a very small bet. I would make it maybe 5 big blinds or so, expecting my opponent to very rarely bluff. I'm trying to get value here from a queen and a jack. Now, I would never do this at the higher stake games against better players. I'd probably just shove if I was to bet. But in this case, I'm going to try and get value from a queen or a jack. And the best way to do that would be to bet smaller. If we're shoving, I don't think a jack is going to call anymore. Maybe a queen would call, but you have a queen yourself, so you're kind of blocking that. So you really want to get value maybe from the jack. So what I would do is bet small. If I'm raised, I would fold. It'd be kind of an exploit fold. It's just that I very rarely see check raise bluffs on spots like this, so that's good. Honestly, checking back I think is perfect. I think it's fine. Worked out this time because our opponent had a suited ace. They didn't check raise at any point, they just called check toward it down, so it's worth noting that in some regard. I think we're probably playing a reg. The 7-4, okay, gonna see a flop. It would be interesting to know what kind of hands you want to isolate against the limps and what sizings Kaloyan uses. Seven four. This could be a hand that you want to stick around with every now and again. This isn't a straightforward fold. Having the 7 and the 4 that wraps around the 6 in some way can mean that you backdoor a straight, can mean that you backdoor a flush as well with the 7-4 and the ace of spades. You want to have that in your arsenal, otherwise you're going to be folding those spots a hell of a lot. 3-5 we limp and we fold. The ISO sizing and the quickness of it from as a tomp makes me think that we're playing a regular. Queen 5, I think we can call against the min raise at this stack depth still, so that would be something I would call. I think it should be fine at this stack depth. 6-9 off, we defend this instead. So this is just like the Queen 5, quite a weak holding. It's gonna be tough to play for sure, but On this one, we flop an open-ended straight draw. On the king high board, I don't mind check raising. I don't mind check calling. As long as you're not folding. King on the turn is going to get barreled quite a lot. Large sizing, it's going to be annoying to play. Annoying as hell to play. I don't mind a shove. I don't want to fold. It's a big bet. Oof. Yep, I like the shove. I like the shove. That's the way I would play. Yeah, I like it. Queen 10, we raise, get trips. Very nice. Hopefully, we can get some value here. If they still have some ace X in their range, we should be able to get the lot. Oh, they raise. Okay. It seems like in most bots, Kalo Yan, when they raise, just lets them do their thing. I think that's completely fine. With really strong hands, like the set of 9s, and Queen 10 here is again very, very strong hand. Yep, calling. Now we've got the flush. Not the best run out in the world, I have to say, but yeah, it's a shove on the river for sure. I wouldn't do any other sizing. We can still get called by worse diamonds. We can still get called by 10x maybe. Ace king, let's go. King 10. Oof. King 10 here at 15 big blind, 13 big blinds. I don't think we have to shove here. I think it's okay to play as a limp shove or a limp call. But yeah, shoving is never going to be bad. I would play as a limp call in most cases. Unless they make it like 4 big blinds ISO, then I'll just limp shove. Anyway, the game overall, I think looks like Kalo Yan is a pretty solid player from my perspective. I agreed with a lot of things they were doing. One thing that I do want to note is the bet slider. I think 40% and 70% are a little bit too big for spin and goes. I'd make smaller bet size boxes, somewhere in the region of quarter pot and 1/3 pot. Bet boxes are nice. Having 120% pot, I like that. But yeah, 40 and 70, I would change those up. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. That helps support us as a channel. If you enjoy these session reviews, please tell us in the comments. If you have any questions or queries about what I said in this video, please put it down in the comments and I'll do my best to respond to it. The next one we'll be doing, someone in our Discord channel hit a, I think it was 100x multiplier, and this one is on the micros, so 25-cent spin and go. I'm not sure if we've done any videos on the absolute micros, so this one might be interesting. I'm sure that there will be lots of plays and things to talk about. This $10 spin was a very high quality play, by the way. I want to reiterate that Kalo Yan played very good. I liked what they were doing. And I think if they just keep it up, I'm sure they will be able to move up to the 25s. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.